aka welcome to the 10-minute live spark. And I am excited to be here today because we have something in store just for you. And I don't think you're ready for it. There's a moment that happens in almost every school, usually around Tuesday morning, and a principal walks into a classroom with a clipboard, right? And everything changes. Teachers feel it, students feel it. The room shifts into performance mode. And suddenly the principal isn't seeing real teaching. She's seeing teaching put on for evaluation. How many of you have experienced that? I think last week I even spoke about a few teachers telling me now I can get off stage. The performance is over. So this week in the Lead Spark Team Journal, we're exploring something that changes everything about how you show up in classrooms. It's the difference between observation and evaluation. Because there's a difference. And they sound like the same thing, but they are not. Evaluation is something I consider comparing practice to a standard. While it can be good or not good, proficient or developing, we have these different scales, we have all these different rubrics being used by different districts. That's important work, but you have to do that, and we know that. But observation should be different. Observation is trying to understand the thinking behind the choices someone is making. It's asking, what is the teacher noticing right now? Hmm. What does the student struggle tell us about their understanding? Why did they make that choice? See, those are two different things. And when you can observe without evaluating, something remarkable happens. First of all, teachers relax, they teach authentically, and they can better take risk. And you see the real thinking that shapes the learning. We're going deep today. We're going deep on the 10-minute live spark. So that matters for your school, and it matters for how you build a system where learning travels across your school district or even your school. So now I want to show you something we've just built that's designed to help with exactly this. One of the challenges we've observed and we hear is, how do I create the conditions? Remember, we're talking about input, outputs. How do I create the conditions for teachers to feel safe trying something new, thinking things through, and bringing their whole selves to the work? Part of that is observation without judgment. Mm. Can we do that? Is that possible? Part of it is something else, helping teachers spark their own curiosity before they walk into the classroom, because you can't give something you don't already have in yourself. So, we're calling this the Spark Curiosity Coach, and it's designed to help educators build wonder into their practice, not as another task, but as a grounding move that actually helps them show up differently. It addresses something very real. When teachers are overwhelmed or disconnected from the joy of teaching, students feel that. Disengagement is spreading like gangrene across America. But when teachers start from curiosity, wondering about their students, about the day ahead, about what might spark learning, everything shifts. And let me show you how this works. I am going to demo our Spark Curiosity Coach so that you have this as a tool in your classrooms. Okay, let's pull up our media. And this account is totally free. You can be any type of educator. You can be a principal, you can be an instructional coach, you can be an educator. So I've logged into the Spark Curiosity Coach, and I am going to assume the role as a classroom teacher. And the first thing is asking me is, what is your lesson or topic? So I am going to focus on that. I'm an English language arts teacher, and our topic is understanding character motivation and perspective. So I'm going to put this up as understanding character motivation, and this is for high school, 10th grade, and my subject is ELA. And if you want, you can also put the state. It will align it to the standards that fall within that topic. Now, this is the most powerful. It's optional, but it is the most powerful. And the question is, what are the background of my students in a particular class or in a particular subject? You can really differentiate it and you can really make these tasks feel more connected to your students' lives and make them feel like, hey, this teacher has taken time to find out our backgrounds, our interests. So I'm going to make this is a urban school, and they are a lot of working parents. There are a lot of apartment complexes. These parents are working multiple jobs, and it's a very dense neighborhood. So I'm going to put this in as a personalized component to go with understanding character motivation and perspectives. And that's it. And then I'm going to generate the spark. So as it's being generated, there are a couple things going to come up. The first thing that's going to come up is going to show the key under the mat. The spark is show the class a photo of the front door of a busy apartment building at 10 p.m. A light is on inside, and there are three different sets of shoes left in the hallway. Ask, why is someone still awake in this apartment? And what is the first thing they saw when the door finally opens? Have students work in pairs to write a three-sentence script showing the interaction between the person inside and the person coming home. One person is coming from a double shift and the other has been waiting up. Don't worry about literary terms, just capture the feelings of that specific moment in a crowded neighborhood. So here we have the opportunity to give them a scenario in a busy apartment to show them different types of shoes and to allow them to create just a 3 second script. Then there are some guiding questions. After they finish the task, it's usually between 8 to 10 minutes maximum. You're going to ask them a few questions. You're going to get a couple people to share their scripts because you've already been listening to what they've been saying. And these guiding questions, you're going to at least pick two of them. You don't have to do all four. And as you ask, let's look at one of the guiding questions. What do you notice about how the person waiting reacts compared to the person arriving? We're trying to get them to think about different perspectives and to give it a scenario that they indeed can relate to. And last but not least, the community summary. The community summary is put together and it's designed not to be put on a PowerPoint, but it's designed specifically for you to facilitate it with the student. So after they do this task and you go through these two guiding questions, everyone has a reason for what they do, even if they don't say it out loud. We understand a person better by looking at the world through their eyes and seeing what's driving their choices. Man, this is going to make, when I get ready to teach this concept or introduce literature to them, there's going to be a deeper connection that they would have never had before. And this is how we spark curiosity. So, last but not least, there's a little feedback because we want to make these prompts better. So, it takes less than 1 minute. And then we have teacher notes. If you're a new teacher, here are some things to help you with the collaboration. Why does this matter? And there's a fearless educator tip. And last but not least, you can download it as a PDF or you can copy it just the way it is into whatever presentation tool that you are using. The last thing I just want to show is that we have a help and resource section because a lot of this is new. This is a spark. This is not a full lesson. This is just a way to get students to wonder before you start teaching. We got to change how we teach. We got to change our practices if we want students to be engaged. So at the bottom, you'll see a quick reference that gives you a time frame and tells you the purpose of each component. That is the Spark Curiosity Coach in a nutshell. And we are going to basically close it with this, okay? So here's what connects these two things together: the evaluation observation to the Spark Curiosity Coach. Observation and curiosity. When you can observe without judgment, teachers feel safe to be curious. And when teachers are curious, They show up differently. They see students differently. And when you see students differently, everything changes. When you start to see the potential, when you hear the comments that come out of students who never spoke before because you sparked something in them, that's the foundation of a learning system where people are thinking, not just compliant. And the world needs thinkers. We need problem solvers because we have a lot of problems and we need more kids and students and teachers and principals working together to help us do this. So this week, I invite you to try both. Spend time in a classroom as an observer, not as an evaluator. Notice what becomes visible when you're genuinely trying to understand rather than judge. Too many judges out there. And if you're teaching, use the Spark Curiosity Coach before you start. See what it feels like to begin from wonder instead of burden. That's the work. That's what changes things. So I thank you for being here today. And we're going to end on a new song called, actually, this is an older song that I felt was important. And it's basically called Enough. And it has some statistics about how people feel, how the students are feeling about curiosity, how the teachers feeling about curiosity, from a report done by Discovery Education. And I made a song called Enough. There's enough evaluation, there's enough lack of curiosity in the classroom, and it's time for a change. So I hope you enjoy this song.
Yeah, students in the building, y'all. We got something to say. It's time for a change. Sitting in this classroom, clock ticks slow like molasses. Worksheets on my desk, pal, I need my sunglasses. Same routine every day, man, I'm falling asleep. Another lecture, teacher talks while my mind starts to creep. To anywhere but here, where learning feels alive. Not just memorizing facts that I won't survive. Another book report on text I couldn't choose. My creativity locked up, my brain paying dues. We've had enough, yeah. Of lessons with no passion, no discussion, no love. We've had enough, yeah. Time to break these chains, push education above. We've had enough, yeah. Of worksheets and lectures that don't spark our minds. We've had enough, yeah. It's time for a new design. Fill in the blank, multiple choice, true or false. Learning reduced to bubbles, our potential on pause. Copy from the board, highlight in the text. Never asking what we think or what might come next. No debate, no projects, no chance to explore. Just sit down, be quiet, and stare at the floor. They say education's the key, but this lock won't turn. We're methods so outdated, how we supposed to learn? We've had enough, yeah. Of lessons with no passion, no discussion, no love. We've had enough, yeah. Time to break these chains, push education above. We've had enough, yeah. Of worksheets and lectures that don't spark our minds. We've had enough, yeah. It's time for a new design. We don't hate learning, that ain't it at all. We hate how you teach it, building up that wall. Between knowledge and passion, between facts and life, between what's in the textbook and what feels right. Look at our faces when the lesson comes alive. When we debate, create, when our ideas thrive. That spark in our eyes when we finally connect with something that matters, something we respect. So listen to our voices, we ain't trying to rebel. Just want education that rings like a bell through our minds and souls, not just filling our heads with facts that'll vanish after test is dead. It's time for a spark, time to engage my mind and my heart. Time for a new way of teaching and learning. Learning should be a joy, and we need you to learn a new way of teaching. Enough is enough, let's build somewhere together.